Hi there, my name's Clinton McIntosh from Team Cyanosis Adventure Racing. I'm 41 years old. I live in Stellenbosch, which is in the Western Cape, in Cape Town. Unfortunately, the team is scattered around the country, so we've had to have individual photos or individual videos put together in order to accommodate this video blog. We would love to have done it a little bit differently, to showcase a bit of who we are and, from an active lifestyle perspective, but let's see if we can put something together that makes us attractive. I'd like to introduce you to the team. The team is made up of Nicholas Mulder, who's the team navigator. Nick and I have been racing together for the past 15, 16 years. We've done a whole lot of adventure races all around the world. I'd follow him basically anywhere. Nicholas Mulder will tell you a little bit more about himself.
Hi there, my name is Nicholas Mulder. I am 40 years old and I have grown up and lived in South Africa most of my life in Johannesburg. I am the navigator for Team Cyanosis. I've done, I think it's around about 75 long distance adventure races now, of which I think 25 are expedition style races in my career. I've absolutely loved the sport during this last 15 years that I've been racing. I thoroughly enjoy the scenery, experiencing new places and getting off the beaten track and going into places that not even the local farmers and all of those, it's remote parts of countries that not even the locals know about. Absolutely stunning areas. My favourites probably being out in Patagonia, maybe some of the sands in the Abu Dhabi deserts, the empty quarter, and also I think racing out in Primal Quest in Moab, Utah, some spectacular scenery out there. I think one of the unique aspects of Cyanosis is that we are a very amateur team, and that we, for the last 13 years, have never had any funding, so we've been self-funded for all of our races, which has put a bit of strain on the finances at home and has made sure we're very committed to the races when we do go there. It always helps to ensure that you try and get a good result, and Cyanosis has always produced good results throughout its history. We've won AR World Series races. I think the highest we've ever come in a World Champs is 8th, but just through our consistency, we're currently ranked number 6 in the world on the AR World Series. I think that makes us one of the competitive, very competitive team. Our consistency comes from various things. We've got lots of experience, having raced for so long. Our team relationships and within the team are well known for always being very strong. We motivate each other well. From my side, I try to bring in top level navigation into the team. I've had some great results with navigation. I've represented South Africa in orienteering at World Championships. I've also competed in World Regaining Championships, where I've got 2 second places overall. And yeah, for me, that's a fascinating challenge, is navigating through some of the most intense areas and complex terrain in the world. It's always a challenge with trying to ensure that you focus on the navigation whilst competing and getting yourself over this terrain, be it on bike or on foot or paddling, without making any mistakes. And you've got 3 other teammates relying on you, ensuring. So a lot of pressure, but something I actually thrive on, just the challenge and so on. So why Eco Challenge? Well, as I was starting adventure racing in 2002, that was the last Eco Challenge in Fiji. So I spent almost a full 5, 6, 7, 8 days watching the race and trying to, over the internet, and trying to get as much information and all the feedbacks as to what was happening with each of the teams. There was a South African team out there which I knew about, and so I was obviously supporting them and egging them on, trying to do well. And they had a great race, including At one stage, I think I was taking the lead through some very good navigation by the navigator in that stage, and that's essentially what I want to emulate and with Cyanosis. So yeah, it's World Eco Challenge has come full circle, and for me, being that was one of the first races I really bought into as a spectator, as I was only just starting my adventure racing career, for me it's also about coming full circle.
Following on from Nicholas Mulder, we have Jackie Moore. Jackie Moore has done a couple of local races with us. We haven't raced with her internationally. Should be considered a newbie to an international race perspective, but she comes with a lot of pedigree. Jackie is definitely a type of person that we want in the team, or anybody we want in the team. She gets out there, she gets involved with everything that the team is doing. She looks for paths, and let Jackie tell you a little bit about herself.
Hi, I'm Jackie Moore from Durban in South Africa, 35-year-old mom of two. Sure, Eco Challenge. It just brings pure adventure and amazing experiences. Sure, about myself, having grown up on the farm, I've always been a lover of outdoor and adventure sports, been competitive in quite a lot of different sporting disciplines, from provincial hockey to river and sea paddling, mountain biking and trail running. I really do just have an absolute love for the outdoors, and I started racing with Cyanosis last year, doing some of the shorter 24-hour races, and with the hope of building up to some of the longer ones. To be able to race in a team with one of the world's best navigators like Nicholas Mulder is just another level. It just takes away a lot of the stress and concern, I suppose, for me as a lady, on having to worry about the navigating side, and having absolute trust and faith in your navigator. I think can just make you concentrate on all the various other elements that adventure racing has throws at you. And then Nicholas, he's just a great leader, and just able to keep everyone all together and confident, and keep going strong while he does one of the hardest jobs in the team. Clinton, sure, I've known him for many years. I've mountain biked with him. He's been a great ambassador for the brand that I work for, Salomon. He was the force in getting me into adventure racing, and I can't say I've looked back. Also a great person, great personality, and the amount of experience that he has in adventure racing. Sure, I don't think you can really compare anyone else in South Africa. He's a super powerhouse on the bike, which is one of my preferred disciplines. I think we've got some great similarities there, and also done a bit of paddling with him. I enjoy spending time with him in the boat, and he's always able to keep everyone motivated and going strong. Can draw a lot of strength from him during the racing, and definitely a force to be reckoned with in adventure racing. Darren also having a great paddling background. I think Cyanosis as a team for Eco Challenge would be an amazing combination. Anything else about myself? Since I've had my kiddies, I found it very difficult to focus on one sport, because I have a love for so many of them, and just to spend time on one is quite tricky. Also just love to be able to show my kiddies how important it is to be outdoors and live and be healthy, and so they travel with us a lot, and I really enjoy spending time with them on the bike or on the paddle, or being outdoors wherever you are, spending time in the mountains. I'm hoping that they're going to grow up with just as much of a passion and love for the outdoors as I do. Yeah, I think to be able to compete in the Eco Challenge 2019 will be an absolute dream for, I think, everyone in the Cyanosis team. Drawn on experience and knowledge and our strengths, and test our abilities to the absolute max. So here's to 2019.
Darren Berry. Darren Berry's CV basically talks for himself or itself. He is a NSRI National Sea Rescue Institute volunteer. He is a very level-headed individual, and he is an asset to our team. Let him tell you a little bit about himself.
Right, so here we are. My name's Darren Berry from Cyanosis Adventure Racing. We are currently ranked as one of the top 10 teams in the world on the Adventure Racing World Series, and we've tossed our name in the hat for Eco Challenge. Now, as part of the entry criteria, we need to make a video, so I've just finished my morning's training session, and I found a quiet spot on the trail here to put something together. At the moment, to be quite honest, I'm just desperately praying that none of my mates are going to pop around the corner and see me doing this, because I'm feeling a little foolish. Anyway, the other challenge we've got is that our team members are all over the country, so it's quite challenging for us to do something that's cohesive, so we're each just doing our own thing, and I really have no clue what's going to be the best. I gave a bit of thought to doing something serious, getting the GoPro out and getting some action shots of me running and riding and paddling and whatnot, but then my next thought was that that's exactly what everybody else is going to be doing, so that's not going to work. A little bit about myself. I'm a husband and father. I have a young 5-year-old daughter. I own a small business, a craft brewery, and I'm also a member of the National Sea Rescue Institute. It's a volunteer organization dedicated to saving lives at sea. And in addition to that, I'm an adventure racer. We're all amateurs. We don't do the sport professionally, although we try to do our training and racing as professionally as possible. But it's a challenge trying to fit it into life, but it's a sport that we love, and we make the sacrifices that it demands. Why Eco Challenge? Well, it's quite simple really. We want to test ourselves in the toughest conditions against the world's best. So Mark Burnett, pick us. We the shit.
So, as Eco Challenge goes back to the roots of adventure racing, support crews are a requirement, and we haven't had the opportunity to put support crews together for many of the races that we've done over the last 10, 15 years, or even longer. Eco Challenge has asked us to put in a support crew, which is quite exciting actually, to get another team member involved from a supporting perspective. I think a lot of teams that haven't raced with support crew back in the day will find it quite a challenge, but that fifth member in the team is invaluable. You can use them to your advantage, and if they're capable and if they're there as an asset to the team, they know what's happening and they're adventure racers themselves, I believe that could be a real big asset to any team. We've chosen Stephen Burnett. We've tried to find a relation to Mark Burnett, and we're hoping that they're related to some degree, and maybe it'll put us in a better favor. But Steve Burnett is an adventure racer, and he's a race director. He's put on some good adventure racing races, part of the A1 series race in South Africa. And let Steve tell you a little bit about himself.
I'm Stephen Burnett from Cape Town, South Africa. No relation to Mark Burnett, as far as I know. if people ask me about adventure racing, what it is, I told them it's the greatest team sport out there. And when Eco Challenge happened, it was before my time. I've only been doing this sort of thing for about 10 years and all sorts of long, crazy expedition races and other things. And that was the time when it got the recognition that it really deserves and the exposure out there. So when it started up again, I really wanted to be a part of it. Being the assist crew in the team is, for me, a different challenge, but no much of a less one. It's going to be vital to have someone with race experience to know where the team are, what they're doing, how long they're going to take, how they're feeling, what they need, what you need to fix. And all of that is hopefully part of my skill set. I'm a jack of all trades, and I can hopefully fix lots of things. And at the end of the day, keep the team going as quickly as possible and get them back on the road as fast as they can be. Look forward to seeing you in Fiji.
And then finally, let me tell you a bit about myself. I'm Clinton McIntosh. I'm 41 years old. I live in Stellenbosch, which is in the Western Cape, South Africa, filled with mountains and rivers and all sorts of things, a real big playground for adventure and outdoor sort of lifestyle. I've been a member of Team Cyanosis for the last 15, 16 years, basically from the foundation. We have raced all sorts of races all over the world. Some of the best races that I can recall are the Patagonias and the real true expedition type races. We've raced a whole lot of international races all over. We raced the Adventure Racing World Series a lot. We participate in those races. We've done about 6 or 7 Adventure Racing World Championships. We're a competitive team. We want to be racing for race wins, and we want to be racing to ultimately place as high as we possibly could or can. Adventure racing in a whole is a type of sport that will humble you in every aspect. I don't care how tough you are. At some point you're going to suffer in a race, and maybe that's what drives us, and that's what pushes us to do these races over and over again, is that we keep testing our limits, or we keep wanting to test our limits to find out where those limits are. And that's what draws me personally back to these races, is that I've never been in a situation where I felt that this is my limits, this is where is the maximum I can go. And whether it's adventure racing in a personal life or in my business life, we're always trying to look at that edge. What happens on that edge? Do we get beyond that edge to get to that scenario? That what happens next? What do you do as an individual? How do you cope with that environment? And that's why I continue to do adventure racing. Why Eco Challenge? Eco Challenge is just one of the pinnacle races for me. Eco Challenge is right up there with the original Primal Quests, with the Patagonia expedition type races. It's a wild race, and we want that. We want those type of races that you can go out there and ultimately it's you're on your own. You got to fend for yourself, and you got to fend for your teammates. And there's no model coddling. We want to be outdoor in the wild, and we want to test ourselves to those limits. I mean, there's the adventure racing of the last couple of years, or the last decade, I would say, is starting to become a lot more model coddled. There's always an art somewhere, whereas these type of races and Eco Challenge, for me personally, gives me that idea that there's no quick exit. There's no you got to self-rescue. You got to be out there to self-motivate, drive your team to get to where you want to go without somebody holding your hand, and that's what we ultimately want, and that's why Eco Challenge for me. I've done a whole lot of adventure races. I've done a whole lot of multi-sport races all around the world, and adventure racing is the type of sport that just is the pinnacle of all of them. It doesn't matter what any of the sports I've done, but they've always been to drive myself to better achieve our goals in adventure racing. Let me tell you a little bit about Cyanosis. Cyanosis is a team that has been around for 15, 16 years. It originally had some doctors involved in the team, and that's where the name derived from. Cyanosis is actually the medical term for what happens when you have lack of oxygen, and the blue around your lips is called cyanosis. Quite a fitting sort of team name, because adventure racing throws a lot of obstacles and a lot of challenges towards you, and in some cases we've been in environments where either lack of oxygen or sleep deprivation or fatigue, or we're not happy or we're grumpy or whatever the case may be. That sort of cyanosis type ethos or depiction tells a lot about the team. We've been around for many, many years. We've done a lot of adventure racing, and we will continue to do a lot of adventure racing for the years to come. We're all still quite competitive. We still want to be racing. We still want to be racing for race wins. I certainly don't consider these races around the world as a holiday. If it was a holiday, I would certainly take family out there and look at it as a holiday. But we're out there to be competitive. We want to be as competitive as possible. We train to be competitive, and we leave our families and our friends and our businesses and all behind when we go and do these races around the world. And we are looking forward to participating, if possible, in Eco Challenge 2019 come September. Thank you.